The News Hour at 10. Debate number 1. On Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Vikramanar, spokesperson of the VCK, joins us along with C. Rajashekharan, lawyer, Vijila Sathyananth, leader of the DMK, Kovai Sathyan, spokesperson of the AIDMK. My first question is to Secretary of the BJP in Tamil Nadu, SG Suryah. The CB-CID probe is ongoing. A fresh post-mortem has been ordered now. SG Suryah, are you confident that finally the truth will come out?
See, to begin with, the very fact investigation has gone to the CID, shows that the TN government was not capable of dealing the matter in the right way from day one. Going with the version of the school kids' parents, there has been methods from day one. The school education minister was listening from the scene from day one. Today he has suddenly woken up. The chief minister was listening from day one. Today, after the violence, everybody comes into the scene. Why didn't they give proper attention to the case when it was taken to them? First question. Second question, now after all the pressure, you have arrested the people and you are taking too many decisions. Okay. But who is responsible for the failure of the law and order, failure of the intelligence? There has been violence in the school. Now other schools are protesting that they will close the schools if there is no justice to them. So there has been an entire message. The government is answerable or not for messing up the entire issue from day one. Today they have suddenly woken up and arresting people and saying others have created problems and etc. is possible because people who are arrested belong to the ideological counterpart of the ruling party. The ruling party have any connection with the rights, etc. Everything becomes a question mark now. For now, we are okay with the CB-CID investigation, but that also says that the state government has failed in handling the case from day one.
All right, let me now take that across to the DMK. Ms. Sathyananth, what were you doing on day one? Too much may already have been covered up or missed.
Hundreds of youth and villagers gathered before the private residential school in Kaniyamur near Chinna Salem on July 17th morning, demanding for justice for the death of the class 12 girl student. So it was a democratic way of protest, and suddenly it turned into a riot-like situation. And like the protesters damaging the vehicles belonging to the police.
Ma'am, I'll just come to that in a second. My beginning question to you is that what happens to the suicide and the cover-up? Now, here's a young girl who's saying, I was being tortured. The parents say for 3 days we said that she was being tortured, that there was a cover-up, and no one listened to us, which is why we were forced to go to court. Why was there a cover-up?
This suicide note is underway to confirm the credibility of the letter written by the girl. Okay, and the second point is it's not cover-up situation. It's really what happened. The investigation has started.
But now the investigation started today, the CB-CID investigation. So one, let me understand.
Yes, CB-CID has been immediately ordered.
But it's been 6 days since the murder. The CB-CID investigation was ordered yesterday. The murder, or the death happened 6 days ago.
No. First, it was headed by the DIG Viluppuram range, Mr. Pandyan, Sheikh Pandyan, Kallakurchi SP, Selvakumar, and the Viluppuram SP, Srinatha, were all deployed in the place immediately, and the situation was under control. But suddenly, only there's hundreds of youth, suddenly they all had a democratic protest. Okay, the government allowed for a democratic way of protesting, asking for justice, demanding justice. The government allowed, but suddenly there were people who were gathering from the nearby villages, but I think it was through social media, some student federations all joined together, but it was mainly the anti-social elements.
Okay, Kovai Sathyan, work was progressing, investigation was progressing, and then some anti-social elements decided to get together and set buses and the school on fire. Why? Using a girl's death for political ends?
Good to be back after a year. Look at the way it has been handled. It's yet another testimony that the law and order in the state is in shambles since DMK came to power. 7 custodial murders, and the life of a common man is at stake under this DMK rule. All the family wanted was few clarifications, either from the school authorities or from the district administration or anyone from the government who can go and address them and answer their queries and clear out or weed out their ambiguous process involved in handling this issue. The post-mortem clearly said the death happened between 3:30 p.m. of 12th till the midnight of 12th or early morning of 3:30 a.m. of 13th. And the school authorities say they communicated on 6:30 a.m. in the morning. So what transpired? When did the incident actually happen? And what is the motive? This is what they were asking for 3 days, and they were protesting. None of them bothered to address their grievance.
Ms. Sathyananth, and even if you leave aside the suicide note, which you are saying you are still looking for the veracity, let me quote to you from the affidavit of the father. He has said that there are no blood stains on the floor, that there are blood stains on the wall of the hostel veranda. He says there are blood-stained palm marks. He's saying that we were not allowed to go inside the hostel. He's saying there were blood stains on the hostel footsteps. He's even saying that I tried to speak to my daughter's hostel mates and none of this was allowed. I was just shut out, which is why he never had any confidence in the police investigation. You are blaming anti-social elements, but the father is saying, I was shut out, I got no answers.
No.
Ma'am, this is totally, actually it has all been messed up. The full police team was...
And the points by the parents added weightage to their... Let me complete. And the points raised by the parents added to their suspicion that this couldn't have led to suicide. And this is not the reason for a suicide, and there was a cover-up. And the cover-up was evident from the school authorities. Rather than listening and taking a complaint and filing an FIR, what is this government is doing, after things spiraled out of their control, and they hurriedly file a FIR, and they are releasing the suicide note. And it's like a damage control exercise by the DMK government. It's another damage control exercise.
Madam Vijila, damage control.
Actually, we have seen so many protests before we have seen so many protests. There and all, we have not gone for any fire shooting or anything. It was all under control. Everything was under control. And suddenly this erupted only because of anti-social elements who joined the legal protest,
Who are these anti-social elements? Are you suggesting there is a political hand behind these anti-social protests? Madam?
Yeah.
Are you suggesting a political hand behind these anti-social protests?
Maybe it might have been
SG Suryah? Is there a political interference in these anti-social protests?
Behind
what parents made into points?
So
no, if at all, see, the protests happened 24 hours has gone now. If at all there is any evidence of the opposition parties of DMK involving in the protest, now they would have been shouting from the rooftops. So they are very silent. That means they might have instigated this protest, or their absolute failure of intelligence is laughable that they are ashamed to talk anything about this. Periyar Dravidar Kazhagam, whose people the current government has arrested, is an ideological counterpart of DMK. So who instigated these riots?
Police.
Where is the version?
108 police have been, they are in the hospital. 108
yes.
police are
Our
in the
question
hospital.
is, who are these rioters?
Lot of injuries. Okay, and
278
people were arrested. 22 juvenile, all hitting the police jeeps, police van, police two-wheelers.
Yes.
And
we also want the rioters to be arrested. Please tell us who are these rioters. Is the intelligence failure, truth, or the ruling government let these riots take place so that they can divert the issue? There is absolutely no clarity.
Okay, so you're saying far from being involved in the riots, you are being somehow blamed for them, and this was staged, Mr. Vikraman, to try and put the blame on the opposition. That's what the BJP is saying.
Yes.
Vikram, sir?
BJP is known for instigating violence. That is well known all over the country. You can see even in the neighboring Karnataka. You can see just with hijab row, how did they make that such a big violence? We know. And Deepak and Surya, those two belonging to the AIADMK party IT wing, have been arrested because they have been circulating rumors and rumors and rumors in WhatsApp, Facebook and Twitter, like gathering youngsters. You know, Ms. Vijila Sathyananth has said before that there was a peaceful protest. Before peaceful protest by some organizations, they have been doing peaceful protest. Immediately, youngsters in hundreds, they thronged the site and they came inside, they broke open the doors and they burnt the buses. These were all staged. We are getting visuals like, you know, how they have been organized, how they have been, gathered from surrounding villages who have been behind this. We all know that. It is ADMK and BJP who are behind this.
Kovai Sathyan, direct charge being made at you, and let me in fact even quote from what the court has said today. Let me just quote. This court is of the firm opinion that such a violent protest that erupted yesterday was not mere eruption of sudden provocation. It appears to be motivated, planned, calculated. There is some force behind it to show as if the state is lawless. Mr. Vikraman is saying that force is you to show that the state is lawless.
Yo, look at the apathy of DMK and its ally, voicing for the rights and voicing for something which is happening on the other way around, and social media. Now they are being branded as anti-social elements, and such is the apathy of DMK. Their inefficiency is exposed day by day of handling the day-to-day affairs of governance. Yet another example. What should have been nipped in the bud, they let it spiral out of control. And
school premises.
Let me complete.
These are all called
you may please
you
wanted
to show the government
you may give my time. I waited till you complete.
But Mr. Vikraman, did the intelligence not know what is happening? Would things have come to such a pass if the parents would have been satisfied that there was no cover-up? The parents were forced to protest
that is what I'm saying.
because they were not satisfied with the investigation.
You can ask the parents. You can ask the parents. Parents were clearly mentioning in the affidavit saying that we had a peaceful protest. Immediately, hundreds of youngsters from nowhere, they thronged the place. That was what the parents' affidavit have been saying.
Sir, the parents' affidavit is saying very clearly, we are not satisfied with the probe that has happened. Are you at the outset conceding that the probe was not satisfactory, which is what prompted the parents to protest in the first place? We'll come to the violence in just a second. But at the outset, are you conceding that the probe was not satisfactory?
Padmaja.
Yes, go on. Kovai Sathyan.
See, the parents were grieving and they wanted justice for them.
Yeah. Nobody is justifying the act of anti-social elements here, and nobody is supporting violence. Nobody should take law in their hands, and everybody are equal in front of law. What should have been nipped in the bud? There is a categorical failure from the part of the government, governance, L&O and intelligence.
Okay, Mr. Chandrasekharan.
Because of their lackadaisical attitude.
Putting the blame
on AIDMK and RSS is so the kind of damage control exercise they are trying to do. They're trying to hoodwink the people with these kinds of statements saying that no, all was well, we did the right thing.
Mr. Rajshekharan, first hoodwink the parents, now hoodwink the people.
BJP, though instigated the protest and violence.
Mr. Rajshekharan.
Yes, Padmaja, this is most unfortunate incident. And these kind of
hooliganism cannot be tolerated by any government. And rightly, I'm told that some 300 people have been arrested because they had been involved in this violence. Whatever the police did, maximum, they have done it in the right manner. And for everything, a private institution cannot be guarded by government police 24/7. Let us be pragmatic in understanding what is happening at ground zero. A girl dies in a mysterious manner. The investigation reveals it's a suicide. It is inside the private school. And how do you expect police and the government to just on imagination, or it is not astrology, to go inside somebody? This is going to happen. If somebody gives a complaint after the incident, unfortunate incident, the police will get into action, which have done it in a proper manner. And the opposition,
but that is the whole point, sir. Nobody expected the police to stand in every hostel, but they expected the police to investigate the death as a suspicious one based on the apprehensions and the things that don't add up. That is what was being asked of the police.
See, the Honorable Madras High Court, the judge, you just read the order, clearly says investigate this matter with a special team, form a special team in all angles. Don't spare anybody and investigate. See, when the matter is sub judice and the matter is before the Honorable High Court, and definitely the police, we have to have trust over the police. You cannot insinuate something which is not true.
SG Suryah, you cannot insinuate and then make it into an alternative reality.
No, I'll tell you, Padmaja,
I like
see,
to
for
remind
political
Mr.
gains,
Rajashekhar.
you cannot play to the galleries on serious issues.
Playing to the gallery. SG Suryah, okay, let him answer.
No, let me finish.
I would like to remind Mr. Rajashekhar that there is an official spokesperson here. Secondly, Vikraman is talking about violence, but his own leader, Mr. Thirumavalavan, has visited the girl's parents and mother. The mother has complained that there has been some problem with the investigation and there is something fishy going around. But he is not answering that part, whether the police investigation was proper, whether it was carried out on time, who instigated the violence. My only question is, it is more than 24 hours. Is the state incapable to tell the people who instigated the violence, which organization was behind this, who allowed it, and etc. So we are telling that there is an absolute intelligence failure, law and order failure, and total failure of government machinery in the state, because the chief minister is busy with the corona treatment and previously he was busy with shooting for the chess competition, and the school education minister who is supposed to do his job is busy promoting films of Udayanidhi Stalin, whose International Fans Association the very same school minister is heading. Nobody is answering anything in the state.
Okay.
Yes. I thank Mr. Suryah for acknowledging that our leader had gone to the girl's house immediately after the incident had broken out, and he had consoled the parents, and the parents had been asking him about, take action immediately, we want justice and all. Yes, something unfortunate had happened and the girl committed suicide, or it is an alleged murder or whatever, and the government is supposed to take action in due process of law. We cannot immediately.
No, so sir, what is your party's stated position? Is this a suicide? Is it death by suicide, or is it a murder? Because already on the first day, the senior most police official in the state had dismissed it as a suicide.
Our party is not law enforcing agency.
But the law enforcing agency called it a suicide on day one.
Enforcing agency. Nobody called it a suicide on day one. It was a misrepresented news clip that has been running in the social media. It's like used by some prestigious news organization.
Really?
The news card has been running in the social media.
SG Suryah.
The DGP has been saying this statement. That was a misrepresented statement.
It's a misrepresentation?
That is what I'm saying.
The clean sheet given on the first day?
Opposition parties, they have been eyeing on deaths of every single person. If there is a student,
Times Now can do a fact check. Times Now can do a fact check independently. The DGP said till that moment there has been no complaint against the school, so therefore the school cannot be blamed. The video is live, the press conference is live, it is not a misrepresentation. I think Vikraman should find something better to defend this government just because they are in alliance with them.
Vikraman.
No, DGP has been saying the investigation is going on and we should not jump into conclusion. That is what the DGP has been saying. And there was a news card from the prestigious news organization. They have put the news and they withdraw the statement. Then why did the news organization withdraw that statement they have put?
Okay, let me just ask as a final this thing. What do you think then is the way out? Mr. Kovai Sathyan, is the CB-CID probe going to be enough, or should there be a central investigation?
10 seconds.
Yes.
You should thank Mr. Vikraman of the VCK, stating that his leader went and visited the parents but there were no subsequent statements standing in line with the or supporting the family, aggrieved family, because DMK ally doesn't have the spine to raise their voice when it is much needed. They always been a mute spectators and they always play chamchas whenever there is a breakdown of law and order. And this is yet another example of the same. He went and visited the family,
Sathyan,
but what was his statement? Did he sought justice?
Statements.
No.
Yes.
Did he made any statements with respect to how this has to be carried forward? No. When there was a breakdown of law and order, was there any statement from his leader as an ally?
Conducted immediately without any bias.
Sir, I have a very simple question. What is the way out then? Should there be a central investigation for the satisfaction of all? And if that is being demanded, Vijila Sathyananth, do you think that a CBI investigation is something the state government would be amenable to?
Yes, CB-CID inquiry is more than enough. They are doing in the right direction. And our Honorable CM has appealed to the maintain calm, and they want the persons who are resorting with violence, and also they have expressed the complete solidarity with the parents.
Ma'am, obviously nobody is going to condone the violence. My question is different. For the satisfaction of the parents, would you be open to a central inquiry?
Violence as well as the girl's death. It will be probed and justice will be given to the girls.
But parents. Justice is justice if the family feels that justice has been done. For that, should there be a central investigation?
No, CB-CID is going on a right path.
Okay. If you say so, I'm sure the parents will have to agree. We'll keep a close eye on what the investigation is like. Tomorrow is going to be the post-mortem. We'll be tracking it very closely. For the time being, thank you very much, all gentlemen, and Miss Vijila Sathyananth for having joined me.